now.
Alright guys, so I know there was a little bit of confusion, so this has been uploaded onto Google Classroom. The file is called How to Reach a Goal, which is what we did today in class. And then also there will be another tutorial on Google Classroom that shows how to do your homework. So what I'm going to give you in this tutorial is how to successfully complete at least one of these, and then your job is going to be to try to complete the others on your own time. The homework, don't forget that that's also going to be due in 2 days. That there will be a separate tutorial underneath. So for each section of this first page, for how to reach a goal, these are the questions that I want you to answer. Now it would help if you guys could do it in a formal writing, so to speak, but at the very least, you can simply list them down. Just make sure that your thoughts are complete, because there's a lot of steps to keep in mind, and I think that's where I lost you guys. In this file as well, you will see the actual examples that we went through in class. And I believe every single class has gone through this one. And so I'm going to go back through that one. On your own, you will need to do either Lauren's example or Darnell's example. And then also the homework, that is going to be on the same file as well. So everybody should be prepared by the end of this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in. Actually, I think I might leave this the way it is. And so the first thing that we're going to do is, in order to answer question number 1, you need to actually solve questions 2, 3, and 4. By understanding the answers to these, you're actually going to better be able to determine kind of what your topic sentence is. As far as we're talking about Jose here, you're going to be able to understand if he has accomplished his goal or not, only by completing 2, 3, and 4. So, for number 2, what it says is write down the weekly earnings and expenses of your person. For A, it says include the differences between earnings and expenses. So that means what is the difference between what he earns and what he spends. And that's going to give you your savings. So what that'll look like over here, I'm going to try and do in colors. Earnings will be in red. Expenses in green. And then savings in purple. And in order to figure out what your earnings, the difference between your earnings and your expenses is, you subtract them. And that should give you what your savings are. I know a lot of you might be thinking, Mr. Drew, this isn't math class, but in economics, you have to have a good grip of math. Otherwise, you will struggle at understanding why it's important to calculate an interest rate, or how to even do something like that. And remember, with economics, we're always looking for the best deal. Example 1 is Jose. Jose tutors some 6th graders in math. For this work, he earns $43 a week. He always puts $18 in his college fund, and he uses the rest for everyday expenses. At a jewelry store downtown, he spotted a bracelet that he'd like to buy for his mother's 40th birthday. 2 years from now, and it is a real beauty, the price is $250. You will need to figure out how much he needs to save and how long it's going to save, because that is the goal that he's working towards. The goal he's working towards is this bracelet for $250, and he has 2 years to make it. That's what his goal is. First, let's figure out what he earns, what his expenses are, and what his saving is. If you look in the first sentence, he earns $43 a week. He spends, this is where you need to make sure you read everything, because down here in this bullet point, because it says he puts aside $18 for his college fund, but then also in this bullet point, he spends $15 a week. So you need to account for $18 towards college, and then $15 for weekly expenses. And because this is social studies, not math class, I'm going to be pretty lenient. And if you guys use a calculator, I will never know. So we do 18 plus 15 because we're looking for the total expenses, and that equals 33. And then you need to put that underneath your earnings. And that would give us, because now we subtract, and that gives us a saving of $10. So this is step 2. This is for step 2. We have just found out the weekly earnings and expenses, and we figured out what the difference is between the two. And now we can use that to understand the goal that they're working towards, which is a $250 bracelet in 2 years. What you're going to do now is you're going to take your savings per weekly, because this is per week according to the problem. You're going to take this and you're going to see how many weeks it would take to reach the goal of $250. This is for number 4. What you do, I'm going to do that over here, but to calculate the time that it will take to reach your goal, you would do the goal, which is the bigger number usually, divided by your weekly savings. What that looks like your goal is to raise $250 and you save $10 per week. And so what I would do, but I don't do long division well, so I would do 250 divided by 10, and that gives me an answer of 25. And because the problem said that it was in weeks, I know that it would take me 25 weeks. That is for 4. Now I would also challenge you, not just to give me the weeks, but to break down kind of a more formal way. And I know that there are 4 weeks in a month, and so I would do 25 divided by 4, which gives me 6 months and 1 week. And that is your answer for number 4. Is this a short, medium, or long-term goal? If you read this part right here, so the first problem, if you read that, you will see the difference between a short-term, a medium-term, and a long-term goal. It's listed in the instructions right here. So this is what I want you to familiarize yourself with. And now that we have the answer to this, now we can answer this question. And the answer is that Jose will make his goal of $250 by the 2 years, and we know that it would only take him 6 months and 1 week. This is what I want you guys to do for this first problem, and then I want you to try and apply that reasoning to either 2 or to 3.